Welcome back. A new year brings new opportunity to pay down debt. For making financial resolutions, but actually shedding debt can be easier said than done. So for more on this, we're joined by Jeff Schwartz in Toronto. He's the Executive Director of Consolidated Credit. Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
How much debt do Canadians typically take on over the holidays?
Well, surveys show that this year Canadians planned on spending about $1,600, and with half of Canadians living paycheck to paycheck, unless they budgeted for that amount, much of it's going to end up on high interest rate credit cards or lines of credit.
So what can people do to help shed the burden of debt?
Well, what they need is a plan. They need a specific plan to find their way out of debt and set up some goals around how they're going to do that. And that really starts with assessing how much they owe and to whom they owe and how quickly they're going to pay it off.
Okay, so what type of advice would you give to people in that situation?
Well, let's start with that plan. I mean, reality is that they want to set some real goals around timing and in terms of how much they want to pay off. So as an example, if they want to pay off $1,500, we suggest that they pay it off by the end of the first quarter or the end of March and divvy it up over the course of each month and then set a goal as to how they're going to do that. And in many cases, that means kind of hibernating. Doing away with some of the spending that you did leading up to the holidays and going to a bit of a stoppage on that so that you can apply the money that you would have spent on entertainment, going out for dinner, that sort of thing, and apply it towards the debt. And if you've got to come up with $500 a month, that's a pretty good place to start.
And so probably having a budget in terms of that plan is really important.
You really want to take a look at your budget, and if you haven't created one, now is a great time to start. And once you've done that, then you'll be able to ascertain, well, where can I cut back? What areas can I get some of that money that I'm going to need to put towards that debt, and so that I can achieve my goals in paying it off.
Now, we know that household debt is expected to increase in 2016, and that's after the record highs we saw in 2015. How concerning is that to you?
Well, that's a huge concern. As I said earlier, many Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck, and what that means to me is they're not saving, and the stats are showing that. We're seeing savings rates somewhere between 3% and 5% compared to the 80s, where it was in the high teens or even 20%. So if life happens, if we have an unexpected expense, it's a real concern because they're not going to be able to afford that, and they're going to lean towards debt to do it. And if they don't have any more room to obtain additional credit, that's where the trouble starts.
Great advice. Jeff Schwartz, Executive Director of Consolidated Credit. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.